We are here with the maniac himself, Farfa. He has a little tiny bit of Magic the Gathering experience, but we're going to test that experience, giving you 5 cards, and you're going to tell me whether they are good or bad. There's no in between. Either they're like super good or they're awful. So we have some cards that may or may not have been in the comments section that I'm using for this video. So let's go ahead and start with you telling me how much Magic experience you have.
Well, I'm glad that you introduced me as the maniac initially. That's my call to fame now. My Magic experience is like genuinely less than I want to say like 5 hours-ish of total gameplay. I did the tutorial for fun in like 2017 or 18 whenever Arena first came out. I did like a sponsored stream randomly, I think sometime during COVID. And I think I played like another hour for like my subathon like 2 or 3 years ago. Like literally like a single hand of hours of Magic gameplay. But I do know like vaguely how to like read each card and stuff like that and some keywords and things. So I should be able to at least, you know, get through that hurdle. And I'll ask you if I mess anything up.
Oh yeah, you can ask me any questions that you want, or you know, I try not to make it like super context dependent and everything. So I say that because I have a huge caveat. Okay. All of these cards are going to have one mechanic that you definitely have not seen before. And it is pretty convoluted. I just want to see your reaction to these mechanics, so we were going to have some questions.
I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. There's like disgustingly stupid and dumb cards in our game, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that hard. You guys have keywords. Okay. That's cheating.
Okay, well, there are keywords and there's other... Anyway, you'll understand. The Magic players that are watching this will get it. Okay, let's get you started with the first one, and you're going to tell me whether it's good or bad after you're done reading it. I'm going to give you 1 white card, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green, 1 for all the colors of Magic.
I thought you were being racist for a second, then I remember your game has colors. True.
Dang! He went there!
A white card, I was like, wait, is he making an MVT joke?
Oh my gosh, you'll understand. In the MBT video, like 100 comments are just saying white, 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 white.
Makes sense.
Okay. First one is the white card.
Oh boy, that's a mouthful. Okay, so we've got Seasoned Dungeoneer. It's a 4 mana, just 4 white mana, right? I think that's
3 generic and 1 white mana necessary to cast this.
Okay, I see. So it's a human warrior, which does not sound anywhere near as epic as I thought this game was.
No.
That's fine. What is that symbol beside that?
Next to human warrior?
Yeah.
That's the set symbol. You don't need to worry about that.
Oh, so that's... okay. Oh, all right. You got pictures for that shit? Oh, wow. Okay, we've got like set codes. Interesting.
Yeah, we have pictures.
When Seasoned Dungeoneer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative.
Yeah.
Come home. Soldier, you did. Is this flavor text or is this the mechanic?
This is the mechanic.
Oh shit, alright. This isn't like roleplay. Okay. Whenever you attack target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection. What are these words? Like, are these like subtypes of cards?
These are creature types, just like you read Human Warrior.
Oh, okay, right. So okay, I see. Yeah, so it's kind of like typings, I suppose.
Yes.
Gains protect whenever you attack the target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard gains protection from creatures until the end of turn. It explores. Oh, so you just like attack and get a search. Reveal the top card of your library. Put the card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on the creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. Then put the card back or put it into graveyard. Whew, okay, lots to break down here, I suppose. I think like I'm... Okay, so what is, other than the roleplay aspect, what does taking the initiative mean?
Right,
is it like cryo or something?
I was waiting for you to ask me that, because it's funny that you said the roleplay, because this is literally from the Dungeons & Dragons set.
Okay.
And that's why it's the initiative. So let's first tell you what the initiative is. And to do that, we need to give you another picture.
Okay.
This is how the initiative works. And this is an actual
what
like
am I
card.
Looking at?
This is a card that you put to the side. This is a card that you put to the side of the game.
So what is this, like a secondary manual, or is it a token?
Yeah, it's basically a manual, but this is telling you how the initiative works, so you can read this to learn how initiative works, and then I have another sub card to show you.
Man, I think Yu-Gi-Oh could take some ideas from this, honestly. Whenever one or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, that player takes the initiative. Whenever you take the initiative, and at the beginning of your upkeep, venture into Undercity. What is it? Fucking World of Warcraft? If you're in a dungeon, advance to the next room. If you're not, enter Undercity. You can take the initiative. You know when you just like read words and then it's just like,
know.
they just leave and then you're like,
I know.
Like, what's going on here?
I know.
You can move in Magic? What does that mean? If you're not enter Undercity, you can take the initiative even if you already have it. Wait, so what do you mean take it again? You could just do it again?
Yes. Like at the beginning of your
okay.
upkeep, which is your standby phase, basically. But it's before you draw in Magic, it's flip-flopped. It's in Yu-Gi-Oh's draw phase, standby phase. In this, it's standby phase, draw phase, basically. So at the beginning of your turn before you draw, you would move up one rung in the dungeon, and to tell you about the dungeon, I need, which is called the Undercity, I need to give you another sub-card.
I feel like I've played a decent enough of Magic to remember that I don't remember being in a physical location for any of these.
Yeah, you have to like go to a dungeon in real life. Okay, here's the Undercity.
Okay. You can't enter this dungeon unless you venture into it. Okay, do I need to read all of this? I assume you just kind of start at the entrance and then you just go around and do stuff depending on which way you want to go, right?
Yes.
So you start by searching your library for a basic land, reveal and put it into your hand and shuffle. And then as you progress, you can get all of these various effects and abilities,
and you
right?
can go which way through the dungeon that you want and get the various abilities. And every time you would gain the initiative, or initiative stays on you during your upkeep, you get to move to a different place in the Undercity. And you have to like maneuver whichever way you want. So you can go from the secret entrance, you can go to the Forge on your next upkeep, or when you gain initiative, or you can go to the Lost Well. If you go to the Lost Well, you can't go to the trap because you have to go to where the arrows say you can go.
Yeah. Okay, so what format is this?
This is Commander and Legacy playable. And Vintage.
Oh, okay, right. So you can't go to like a GP or something and make your opponent play a subset of a game.
No. Well, yes, if there's a Vintage GP. A Vintage or Legacy.
So can I just this is like a gimmick format, right? Like this
No, this is a real format. You can play this in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. It's real.
I'm sorry. I think I've offended like every Commander player in the world, which is probably half your population.
That's
your
funny.
Game's a gimmick, right?
Right. You would think it's a gimmick, but it's like a real thing that you have to like kind of keep a track of.
Yeah, like it seems like a lot to track here. Whenever you attack, target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection from creatures until the end of it. Am I misunderstanding this, or is it what the target attacking warrior? Does that mean you, the human warrior, or your targets of these types?
Wait, me the player, or like a creature you control?
Yeah, who is target attacking cleric or warrior, for example?
Say you attack with a warrior, like this season Dungeoneer, and you attack with like a random cleric. In addition, like you attack with both. In Magic, you attack with all creatures at the same time. Okay, so you choose whichever one you want to that is attacking, and then it gains protection from creatures to undefend and it explores.
What is the protection? Is that a keyword?
It is a keyword.
So I think protection basically means your guy doesn't suffer health damage, basically, right? Is that how that works?
It can't be targeted. It can't be damaged. It can't be blocked.
Okay.
It can be targeted, can't be blocked, and can't be damaged, basically.
Okay. Well, I think I have an answer.
Okay. How good do you think Seasoned Dungeoneer is?
Oh, I think this card is
do you think it is good or bad?
I think this card is very good, but I think whatever deck this is in is fucking stupid and dumb. But like, it's definitely a staple in that deck. You know what I mean? Like this, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons White or whatever the deck is called, this has to be a staple, right? I mean, this just gets you going through the dungeon. It gets you a search and progresses you through the Undercity. So I assume like this is probably just like it's not like the boss monster. That's not like the most broken bomb of the deck, but it's like it's just your go-to like starter guy. Like you just use this at some point. Right? He's part of your main engine and gets you to your win con, I think, right? Something like that.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting the vibes of here.
Okay, this card is played in a good deck in Legacy called Mono White Initiative, so it is good.
Okay, yeah. Is that deck good? It sounds
that deck is good. That deck is good.
Okay, well, this format sounds dumb.
It also got a card banned from it called White Plume Adventurer, which is basically this card but one less mana, and it's banned.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this guy seems like if it's a little expensive, like 4, but I mean, it just does so much for your win condition and your overall strategy that I think that it seems like it's mandatory, right? Like it's what is this like a 3 or 4 of in the deck, or was 4 cards you play in Magic?
Yeah, you can play up to 4.
Yeah.
And the thing about in Legacy and Advantage is that you get to play what we call soul lands, which are like lands that tap for more than 1 colorless mana. So you can play this as early as turn 3 of the game.
Wait, what is a soul land? Say that again?
It's a land that can tap for more than 1 mana. Like more than 1 colorless mana.
How?
There's a card called Ancient Tomb, and it just says take life, tap 2 mana. Tap for 2 mana instead of 1.
It's
insane. Very broken. Yeah, it's broken. It's a very broken card, yes. So
okay, all right.
You can do that in like older formats that are more powerful, and you can cast this ahead of curve by playing those lands.
That seems absolutely fucked.
Oh,
sure.
God, yeah, I know.
Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Are you ready for the next convoluted card?
Question: Are you gonna give me a card and then show me 7 other pages of a manual to like understand that card, like you did just now?
This is the most convoluted one.
Oh, exciting! Let's begin.
we got the bad one out of the way.
Okay.
All right. Now here's your blue card.
Ooh, blue. That deck's annoying, I think.
It is annoying.
Okay. Let me just put on my best homunculus accent. Lost on the Range. 2 water and 1 generic mana. Legendary creature. Oh boy. Ward 2. Okay. So I don't know that keyword. What does that mean?
In order to like when you target this with a spell or ability, you have to pay 2 generic mana.
Oh! You can pay 2 mana to make it immune to targeting. Am I right?
Yes. Well, not really. You have to pay 2 generic mana, or else, if you don't, then your spell or ability gets countered. It doesn't give it untargetable. It just counters the spell or ability.
That's really cool. That's like holy shit. This is really interesting. Like Magic feels like an RPG almost. Like even when you like physically play the game, not just like the lore and
100%.
stuff. That's so cool. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. That's really funny. So you can just be like in the middle of your opponent's turn, you just like pick up your top card and just, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a one-sided convulsion of nature. Like you just get to look at your card.
Yeah, I think this guy needs to be played in the previous deck because you need to spend time learning what half of that like bullshit was going on is. So that's fair. So the top card of your library has plot. Oh, does it have plot armor? The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. Is this like a mana cheating mechanic? I assume you can use cards as mana. Is that what's going on here?
In a way,
you're gonna have to like break this one.
Yeah, I'll break the plot mechanic down. Plot is you can pay the plot cost. In this case, it gives the plot cost is equal to its mana cost because it says it on the card. So let's say you look at the top card of your deck and it's a 3 mana card. Okay. You have to pay whatever the mana cost of that card is, like 2 and a blue, let's say, and you can plot it. What plotting it means is you get to put it into exile face up, put it into your banish pile face up, and then later on at sorcery speed, like at a normal spell speed, spell speed 1, I guess I should say, you can cast it without paying its mana cost during a later turn, only on your turn at spell speed 1.
Okay.
So it is a way to gain like pseudo card advantage from the top of your deck because it's kind of like drawing a card.
So how do you get it into your exile? Is it like before your upkeep or something? You can just plot it and then put it there. You have
to plot things at spell speed 1.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I'm not really understanding what the difference is between plot cost and mana cost because you're paying mana either way. No.
You are paying mana either way, but it's like pseudo drawing a card when you plot the card off the top of your deck. And then on a later turn, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So it is kind of like cheating the mana on a future turn.
Well, cheating mana is always good. That's always a powerful ability. The problem is that this card feels incredibly slow to me. You have to play. You have to pay that plot cost, which is an initial mana cost, I assume, right?
Yes.
So you pay an initial mana cost, and then later it's quote unquote free to then bank a card for later. And it's not like you're getting it at a discounted amount anyway. I might be skipping over the ward ability. Like, I don't know how powerful it is to actually ward against other cards, but for 2 mana in something that feels like what should kind of be an early game card, this just feels way too slow. Plus, it's a 1/1, and it just doesn't have very good stats. I mean, this doesn't seem like a card you'd play for its stats, but I don't know. I'm just getting like set up. So, not only is the top card of your deck potentially something you don't even want to plot, you then have to wait a few turns to be able to really maximize its value, and you're not even really cheating that card, I feel like. So, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say this card sucks.
Yeah, this card sucks. Good analysis. Good analysis. All right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, this card is too slow. I wanted to show you a homunculus in a cowboy hat. And you said it right the first time. Fibblethip is exactly how you pronounce this.
Okay, yeah. What is it supposed to be? Like, does Magic have its own sort of Murloc space? Because that's what I thought this was when I first saw it. I don't know if you know what a Murloc is.
I know what a Murloc is, yeah. I've played Hearthstone, but like, no, this isn't a Murloc. Magic has its own version of Murloc, and they're called like Merfolk.
Oh.
Right.
Wait, they're all blue cards, right? They're just water people, aren't they?
They're blue water people, yeah. But they're not like fishes and stuff like Murloc and Hearthstone are.
Okay, so they actually are like intelligent. That's fair.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, you got your white card and blue card. Let's go to the black card.
All right. I will say that when I played a little bit of Magic, I think the color I was, what's the word? Kind of felt like an affinity towards was like black, and I don't know if that's just like that super edgy, like, 2000s kid in me or something. But I think this is like the graveyard deck, the Banishy style type of stuff. And they've always had like super insanely cool artwork and shit.
Yeah,
like that,
did you have like the long black pants with the chains hanging from them in high school?
I think I did at one point. Yeah.
I don't know how I knew that. I was just edgy high school kid,
Yeah, I mean, I had a fairly conservative family, I suppose, so I'd try to get away with it whenever I could. So
you had to sneak the chains, you had to sneak the pants and the chains out in your backpack, and then put it on while you got it.
Exactly. So this is Archfiend of the Dross, 4 mana, 2 black, 2 generic, Phyrexian Demon. Okay, can I just say, like, stat-wise, 6/6 seems pretty strong just for this, and it's a flying monster, so it can't be hit by other things except if they hit flying, I assume. Archfiend of the Dross enters with 4 oil counters on. Oh, Jesus. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Archfiend of the Dross. Then if it has no oil counters on it, you lose... Whoa! I don't know about that one, Chief. You lose the game. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. Remove an oil counter from Archfiend, then if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Can I just ask, like, is like purely from a vanilla perspective, is a 4 mana 6/6 good? Like, stat wise? Like, I feel like there's like a calculation you can do almost, and that feels strong.
A 4 mana 6/6 vanilla would not be good. It would need like an additional text to be good. But 6/6 in general is like gonna be bigger than most things on the board.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, just purely stat-wise, it feels strong. It's flying, so I guess it has a little bit of a, protection of sorts. I mean, I don't... okay, so, like, I'm not really understanding what the payoff is here. Like, it seems like it's designed for some sort of super aggro rushdown black deck, which I don't know if black is really infamous for its ability to end the game quickly enough. So these oil counters essentially give you, well, I suppose your current turn plus 4 more turns to end the game. Now, admittedly, you just don't need to play this card if you feel like you don't have control of the game already, but then it's just kind of a dead card sitting there until you're ready to tell yourself, okay, I need to win in 4 turns.
Right, this card, the Magic is 20 life, so this card does 18 in 3 turns if it's not blocked or killed, and then the last trigger can deal like the last 2 if you kill their creature, which black is good at killing your opponent's stuff. So take that for what it's worth. I
just don't understand if, like, how good the flying aspect is of it, because I understand that it has inherent protection and things need to very specifically hit flying, but I feel like maybe meta game wise, in terms of the power creep of Magic and stuff like that, there should be ways for basically most decks to deal with that worst case scenario. If this guy just dies, just straight up dies with the oil counters, do you lose the game still?
No.
Okay, well, I mean, in some ways, maybe your opponent doesn't even really want to kill this, I suppose.
Or they could just see this
Gosh.
on board and be like, oh, I can just stall the game now, and like, then they can lose. That is a play pattern.
Hmm. Interesting cards. What's with the oil? Is there like a story behind this, by the way?
Right,
Why
yes.
is there
yeah, the Phyrexian kind of group of cards, like the lore behind it, is that it is very like oily, overtaken by machine, otherworldly kind of thing, and oil is like their thing.
Oh, we got the United States Marine Corps on the field here. I see.
They're like the otherworldly big bad guys of Magic.
Right, I see. Well, I mean, you don't know that, right? Like, from their perspective, the Jedi are evil.
Right.
So,
right.
at the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter and you lose the game with it. So, I want to say that in my perspective, I feel like it's decent stats. The flying protection is probably quite strong. And I assume black just has a lot of like chip damage type of thing, right? Like whenever a creature dies, the controller loses 2 life, right? Like I assume black probably does like quote unquote burn style damage.
Black doesn't usually do burn damage. That's usually a red thing, but black has a lot of creature removal spells.
Oh, a creature removal. So I suppose that's how you're accelerating that ability. I mean, I feel like the timer aspect of it might not actually be that bad. Because just from the fact that even if your opponent removes this, you don't lose the game. But the thing is, they might even be in a position to just have to deal with this annoying guy that constantly is hitting them for 6/6 because it's flying. So they'll just kind of deal with that oil counter for you. This is kind of a toss-up. I'm gonna go with I think that this is actually a good card. It very much is combo-based and setup-based around the entire deck that you've built for it. But if you are playing Oil Turbo, then this seems like an important piece of that strategy.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, after you've just answered, that there are ways to what's called proliferate, which is put a counter on anything you can put a counter on. And there's quite a few cards that proliferate, and you can use this in a style of deck that would proliferate. So you just put a bunch of you just proliferate the number of oil counters on it so you never lose. You can do that.
Well, that's some key information there.
I told you the information, but that's not like most of the relevant information. You can do that, but that's not usually how people win with this. This card is good, and it's good for the last point that you made, that you have to remove this or else you were gonna die to this anyway. So your opponent is getting hit for 6 every turn, and flying is a very good mechanic. You can only block flyers with creatures with flying already, or creatures with reach. And there's not many creatures with reach, and the creatures with flying aren't nearly as powerful as it being a 6/6. So, and if you put something in the way to block this, black has a lot of removal spells. It's like, okay, remove your blocker, you take 2 life, hit you for 6 again. And then you're probably going to die by the time that you either you remove this or die. So that's why it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I think if I knew about Proliferate, I would have been very certain of it, because even if you're in a worst case scenario where your opponent is kind of stalling it out a little bit and you aren't getting that final piece of damage in before that oil counter drops off, then it feels like maybe, I suppose, if you can Proliferate, then worst case scenario, you can just ramp those counters back up, give yourself a couple more turns, and then, yeah, flying will just chip away to the point where they just die. So that makes a lot of sense.
Proliferate isn't usually played in a deck that can utilize this card. They're just going to put it on board and then say, either you answer this or you die. You can proliferate it to not die, but usually the way that the black deck prevents itself from dying is by actually killing it themselves. They'll use a black removal spell on their own card.
Oh, so like some sort of like Icarus attack style thing to just tribute this or remove it.
Yeah, you can do that.
There you go.
Black has a lot of like sacrifice shenanigans too.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's why I like black. That's really that's fucking base.
Yeah, the black color magic can basically do anything you want, but you have to pay a price for it. Like this, oil counters, you lose the game, or pay 3 life, do this, or discard a card, do this. Even though you can do almost anything in Magic, you usually have to do it at a price. Okay, let's go ahead and go to your red card. So far,
see the like, you know how like there's like really stupid like YouTube combos of Yu-Gi-Oh decks doing like really dumb stuff.
Yes.
Is the Magic equivalent of all of the gimmicky dumb shit you can do in Magic mostly black related? Because I feel like that's the deck that can cheat out shit the most, right?
Yes, but also like a lot of really stupid stuff's in blue, like really really stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, like cheating out a card that says cards that you cast from your hand have no mana cost. Like it's called Omniscience. Basically, you just start playing Yu-Gi-Oh. There's a big enchantment that you can cheat into play.
Why is that a card?
I know. I know. It's in one of my other episodes. Yeah. Why is that a card? I know. There's a couple of decks, and even in Commander and other formats, that you can cheat that into play, and it's a big blue enchantment that says you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh now. So yeah,
really making the 3 other people having a miserable time, I suppose.
Exactly. Wait, isn't that just Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm confused.
Yeah, but that's less people.
It's less people.
I guess.
Imagine Commander Yu-Gi-Oh, where like there's just 1v4. Whoever wins. That would be terrible. Okay, here's your red card.
Sorry, I'm like I'm just really interested because I actually do kind of like Magic in some ways. Isn't like Commander surely just really boring for some people, right? Like, what if you're like going forth and like these idiots just have like some dumb combo that just like you're just sitting there not playing for like 20 minutes.
Well, that is true. You can either not play for 20 minutes or have like free spells that can interact with your opponent's turns and stuff. That's more of the competitive Commander. In regular Commander, I say regular, but in non-competitive Commander, you can be sitting there for 20 minutes while it comes back to you.
What do you do? Like, do you just like go on Reddit or something, or?
Yes, or
is that like an unwritten rule? You can't do that.
No, it's not an unwritten rule. People are just like on their phones and stuff too, or you just like hang out and talk to your friends. Like you just play in a pod of 4 people that are already your friends, and you just like hang out and shoot the shit and stuff like while you're playing. While you're waiting for your turn.
I'm going to be friends with those people after that duel. What the hell?
Especially after they cast Omniscience and start playing Yu-Gi-Oh against you. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go to the red card.
Calamity. Galloping Inferno. 6 mana total. Horse mount with haste. Whenever Calamity attacks while saddled, choose a non-legendary creature that's saddled at this turn and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Repeat this process once. Well, I suppose you're gonna have to tell me how saddling up works here, brother.
Yeah. The saddle mechanic is you have to tap an untapped creature, and then the creature that has saddled becomes saddled. And then
so you can only saddle monsters that have saddle.
No, you can saddle any monster. You can only use the saddle mechanic.
Eldritch Horror can just jump on a horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, you can just do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any creature can saddle a creature if the creature has saddle. Like this has saddle 1. You can just tap any creature with 1 power or more, and it will saddle the Galloping Inferno. It will hop on top. Yeah. Unless this card specifically says non-legendary creature.
Yeah, okay. Otherwise, you're just like saddling. What are they called? Planeswalkers, I guess.
Oh, you can't saddle planeswalkers. It's only other creatures.
Yeah, because a planeswalker is a legendary creature, I think, right?
Yeah. You can saddle this card with anything, including a legendary creature, but the effect of this card won't trigger unless it is saddled by a non-legendary creature.
So further question: if something is saddled, is it like protected in any way, or is it still like hittable?
No, it's still hittable. It doesn't change its stats in any way.
Oh shit! Okay, you can't use like the horse as like a shield temporarily or something.
That'd be cool if you could just like freaking jump off the horse, throw the horse at something, and then like give it some kind of protection. No, you can't do that.
Choose a non-legendary creature that's saddled this turn and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next and repeat this process. So basically you summon 2 tokens of that monster that you've saddled, and it just instantly attacks, right? And then it dies at the end step.
Yes.
Okay. Am I missing something here, or is this just fucking incredible? Like, this is just the entire point of like red is like it's a rush down aggro haste deck. Like this thing has haste. You saddle, you just and you hit 2 more times with the thing on top of it. With this, it copies the stats, I assume.
Yes, it's an exact token copy of the card. And it will trigger their enter the battlefield if it has an enter the battlefield trigger. Like when this enters the battlefield, draw a card. When this enters the battlefield, like, kill a thing. It will trigger those as well.
Okay, so you can just do like I'm pretty sure like red has a bunch of just like enter the battlefield, like deal 1 and stuff like that, and then you just like deal 1 twice, and then you attack twice.
You could do that
with this guy. Like, yeah, this is absolutely fucking busted in like the fire deck. Like this is incredible.
Unfortunately, this card is too expensive to be incredible. This card is bad.
No shot.
Yeah.
6 mana. I mean, oh come. What's wrong with 6 mana?
Yeah, that's a lot of mana.
Actually, too expensive.
Like a red deck will kill you in like 3 or 4 mana. It doesn't even need 6 mana. Like you would play this in a deck that has like a huge card that you would play this in a non-aggro version of red, because yeah, exactly. You'd play this in a deck that has like another huge creature. Like there's a creature that says like when another creature enters the battlefield, deal damage to any target equal to its power, and then like you can play this right afterwards for 6 mana, copy that, and then it makes 2 other attacking copies of the other card, and they all see each other, and then like you dome your opponent for like 20. But you can.
I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I guess if you're just doing it on turn 3 anyway, then maybe none of that matters.
You win the game with red decks. You can win in the like the lowest power format in Magic. You can win the game with a red deck on turn 4 of the game.
Why is this deck like? Who plays this deck? Like, why is that okay?
Who plays the red deck?
That sounds so unfair.
To like, punish the blue decks.
How is that fun? Oh, okay. So, but like every deck in Magic, I think takes some type of ramp, no? Like to get going, and then you just die on 4. That's fucking bullshit.
You can die on 4 unless you like kill their creatures or whatever. Like if you're a black deck and you kill their creatures, they can't always kill you on turn 4. Maybe it's like 5 or 6 or 7, and then maybe you're playing a blue deck and you have like little bounce spells, like pay a mana, bounce their creature to their hand, and you can like interact with them that way. Maybe they can't kill you on turn 4, but usually the red decks will kill you turn 4 or 5, depending on what format you're playing. So this is like way too expensive. You would never play this in a red aggro deck.
Well,
it's really cool though.
I mean, I thought like it is. I think like for 6 mana, it is on the higher end, but like once you summon this, you just hit for like 10 plus in 1 turn, right?
Yeah, you win.
This is just like a haymaker, it feels like.
Yeah, you win.
Oh well. I guess
you're basically having the logic of, oh my gosh, you just summon Chaos Max Dragon and attack over their creature for lethal. This card's like incredible. This card's crazy. That's exactly what you're saying right now.
Okay, I just call the Blue Eyes card good, basically.
How does any deck beat this card? I don't understand.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, that made you understand more than anything else I said.
Yeah, it really did.
Okay, that hit home. Let's go to the last card, and it is a green card.
I can't remember what the gimmick of green is supposed to be, but holy shit, this is a 1 mana?
Well, I can tell you what the gimmick of green is, though, if you want to know.
Well, the first word is fucking toxic, so I think we know which direction we're going in.
Green has a lot of mana manipulation, a lot of ramp, and a lot of huge creatures. Also, this doesn't fall into any of those categories, but green also has some itty-bitty creatures that can deal toxic damage, basically. And they have like little mini snakes and everything that have death touch. There's a lot of like small insect, caterpillar, snake, lizard creatures in green as well. But usually it's mana manipulation and ramp and huge creatures.
Okay, right. So Venerated Rot Priest is a 1 mana. It's a toxic. 1 player's dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. So I assume like by this creature also get a poison counter. So like, is it a poison counter? Just deals like 1 damage every upkeep or something?
No. That would be the Pokemon version of it. But
I'm close.
Yeah. No. Toxic is when this creature, it says it right there, players dealt combat damage by this creature also get the number of toxic counters that it says. So it's toxic 1. When this deals 1 damage to your opponent, or any amount of damage for that matter, they get 1 toxic. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, they get another poison counter. When any player gets to 10 poison counters, they lose the game.
Why? Because they take 10 damage? That's not game, no? Right?
10.
Is that just the rule?
The rule is if any player gets 10 poison counters, they lose the game. Instead of taking 20 life, if they take 10 poison, they lose.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. Players dealt combat damage by this creature get a poison counter. And whenever a creature you control becomes the target opponent gets a poison counter. So if they just hit this and clear this with something else, well, they like I'm trying to like vaguely remember how combat works. You can't like target monsters to attack them, right? You just choose to not block with it.
Right.
That's how that works, right?
Right.
Okay. But if they do try and remove this by dealing with it with like a spell or something, I assume that second effect includes itself, right? They target it to like do something to it, and then the opponent just gets a poison counter.
Yes. They're closer to death.
Okay. Sure. Kind of like in the same vein as like the first card, like I feel like this toxic poison counter thing like feels and sounds like kind of a weird gimmicky deck, but this looks like a staple in that deck. Like I don't really see the downside of this. It really helps you ramp up those toxic counters. So like it just gives you constant protection. Because you summon this, if any time your opponent tries to target your stuff, they just get a poison counter. And for 1 mana, that feels like a good deal for what your win condition is in this essentially burn deck. So yeah, I think this is a good card in the strategy, but this doesn't really strike me as an incredibly powerful strategy. But I could be completely wrong about that. So I think this is a good card.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this card is good. This card is...
All right.
This strategy hasn't always been really, really good. There has been times in Magic's history where it has been very good. The point of a strategy like this is to put a whole bunch of little shitters, right, on the board that all have toxic or infect is the other word for it. It's a different mechanic.
Why is there 2?
Why is there 2 words for it? I don't even know. Like, infect is it deals damage to other creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters, but it also deals damage to players. Instead of dealing damage, it deals that amount of poison. So if a creature with 6 power and infect deals damage to you, you won't take any actual damage, but you will take 6 poison, and you only need 4 more to die. What toxic is even if Venerated Rock Priest deals 6 damage to you, you'll still only take 1 poison because it has toxic 1. That's the difference between the 2 keywords.
That sounds
but they are
really
both poison. Yeah, it's unnecessarily complicated, which is why I showed you this. I wanted to give the unnecessarily complicated cards. But they're both combined to equal the same amount of like you get 10 of these, you lose the game.
I feel like designing 2 different keywords for essentially the same mechanic is very unintuitive and counter-interactive design, right? Like, anyway, that is what it is.
They did it because they realized that the infect mechanic was like pretty unfun to play against, and they wanted to make like a more fun to play against version of infect. They made toxic.
Can we make burn less annoying? Okay.
Yeah,
but also competitive and fun.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, this seems like an annoying strategy for sure, right? Like, because I think it's designed to really frustrate you because that protection effect seems like really good, right? Because if they do try and get rid of this thing applying toxic to everything, they still get a poison counter.
Right. And even if they try to remove this deck also plays protection spells like my target creature gets untargetable. And then when when they target your thing to kill it, you give them a poison counter. And then when you target your own thing saying that it doesn't die, they also get another poison counter. So this type of deck also targets your own stuff. So at some point with this card, you don't even have to attack them for game anymore. You could just like burn them with this.
Yeah, because you could just apply that yourself. Okay, that's I always forget like you can basically just do that stuff to yourself in Magic, and it might have like a following effect. Like I definitely missed that with the black card you showed me, for example. That seems like, yeah, a typical sort of thing that you can do to like ramp up different abilities and buffs and stuff like that.
Right.
I gotta ask, like, is a lot of these? I don't know if this is the standard, but it feels like, you know, you just need a life point counter in Yu-Gi-Oh! In Magic, it really feels like you need like a bunch of different fucking spatulas and utensils on the field to like keep track of everything that's cooking, right?
Yeah, and one of my decks I have, or both of my decks that I play competitively, I have a stack like this of different tokens and cards and whatever that I need for the game.
Mm-hmm. And you also need like different types of those tokens and cards to track different types of things going on.
I have insect tokens, I have a treasure token, I have a clue token, I have a... I don't know, there's a lot of them.
I have a primal being token.
I have a Sky Striker Ace Kagari.
Yes, my favorite token.
Yeah, it's not a token, but I have a Yu-Gi-Oh card right in front of me. Anyway,
all right.
Thank you for being on the show. It was awesome having you. We are.
Oh yeah, I did all the colors. Okay.
You did all the colors.
Wait, so is that 4 out of 5?
That is 4 out of 5. So you did a great job. 80%. You passed the test.
That's decent. That
is very decent.
I'll take it.
Well, you're an up and coming Magic player now.
I honestly, genuinely want to try playing like some draft. I think that sounds like interesting. I have no idea how it works or what the deal is behind it, but I am planning on doing like a draft like review at some point as like a Yu-Gi-Oh player who hasn't done basically any drafting, because our game just does not have that shit. But in Magic, it's like literally some people only play Magic to draft.
Oh yeah,
so that's actually a really cool thing about it.
I do play Yu-Gi-Oh Cube though, where we do. Every card is every type and every attribute, so that we can actually draft. So drafting Yu-Gi-Oh is really fun, but drafting Magic is also really fun. We are actually thinking about doing on this channel a Master Duel. All the Magic players that have rated Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like the opposite of what you're doing, to go on Master Duel and like do a tournament of everyone that doesn't know what they're doing. And I'm also thinking about doing one of those for the Yu-Gi-Oh players that have rated Magic cards. So if you'd like to join a tournament in like a few months from now or whatever, then let me know in the comments if you'd like to see something like that happen, where the Yu-Gi-Oh players that have rated Magic cards play Arena and have absolutely no clue what they're doing and play against each other. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. As once again, thank you Farfa for joining the show. Maybe if you want him to join us again for some more Magic cards, let me know in the comments as well. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you everybody, and as always, peace.